Hi, and welcome to another episode of Written and Directed By. This is just a little disclaimer to let you know that the recording of this podcast was a very stripped down version of what we normally do, so the audio quality is not exactly what it should sound like. So just be aware when listening with headphones that there may be inconsistencies with levels. But I hope you guys stick around and you listen all the way through. This is a pretty great episode, and I think everyone will really enjoy it. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. And action. Thank you for joining me on another exciting episode of Written and Directed By. Today I am joined with a recent and awesome new friend of mine, Kainoa Spencer. Hey, how's it going, buddy? How are you?
Hey, what's up, Harrison? Thanks for having me.
Of course. I'm just going to point that a little closer to your face.
Right,
there you
cool.
go. Yeah, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah?
How's your day going?
Not bad. Just got done with school.
Nice. Well, what are you studying again?
I'm in the School of Civic and Economic Thought and Leadership at
Okay.
ASU. So it's just economics, philosophy, and
Gotcha.
business
Okay.
stuff.
Do you like it?
Yeah. The classes are interesting. Taking like entrepreneurship and innovation. So like
Or keep going.
interesting courses that are. But I was an international affairs major before.
No, you're good.
So it's a little different. But
Okay.
It's pretty much the same. I enjoy it a lot.
That's good.
Small classes at ASU.
Yeah.
Like 4 and 6 kids.
406?
No.
Oh,
four
four-
kids in one and then
Oh,
six kids
oh.
in the other.
Okay.
Very small courses. Yeah.
Gotcha. That's small. Compared to when I went to ASU, like all my classes were at least, I think the smallest class I had was 20.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they were all like 100 kid plus. But yeah, is your like school very like niche, like very
Yeah, the
like
major's pretty new. So
okay.
That's why it's pretty small too. And because it still sits in the liberal arts college.
Gotcha.
Sort of, but it's just a niche, like what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like not a lot of kids. It's a lot of like classical
Okay.
words that are foundational and stuff. But it's fun. I enjoy it.
How'd you get into that?
Well, when I was coming over from ASU and stuff, I was transferring back
Mhm.
and stuff, but it just sort of fit with my majors and the credits that I had over
Okay.
at Seton Hall before, and then we got connected with someone who just told me about the school and said it'd be a good fit, and knew I
Oh,
liked
cool.
civic engagement and stuff like that. So
So it just kind of fit, yeah.
Yeah, amended well.
That's good. That's cool. Okay, so I want you to tell me like a little bit about like your story and where you like how you are. I mean, so for the people that are listening, Kainoa he's sitting in a wheelchair, and how do you? Is it a quad?
Yeah, you're just a quadruple amputee.
Okay.
So I'm 21 now, but when I was 19? Yeah, 19.
Mhm.
It was literally right at the end of my 19s. But it's the end of my sophomore year over at college, over at Seton Hall University in New Jersey.
Okay.
Right outside of Manhattan and stuff. And it was sort of that last week of finals we had. And our finals were sort of split Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday and stuff. And so I was sort of just, getting, like, gearing down for finals, just, like, hunkering down. Like, just, it's not a fun time for anyone.
Right.
And, but we had our fraternity formal that weekend and stuff. So I woke up Sunday not feeling the best. And, like, I thought, all right, I'll just get over this. And Monday came around. I still wasn't feeling better. I had some finals that day. And I, like, passed out in one. I was,
wow.
like, so sick. I was like shaking in one, like barely read my handwriting and stuff. But that was happening Monday and Tuesday, and just like not sleeping well or anything. So then Tuesday night, I was like done with finals, just like cleaning my dorm, like because I was going to leave that next morning.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happened is I was like going to bed, but it felt like just a knife through my chest, right? And so I called one of my brothers or one of my friends there. And he's like one of the last people on campus. So it's like the last day campus is
Right.
open. And I'm like, the medical things are closed on campus. Wonderful. It's like 2 in the morning. And so he takes me we go to like the nearest emergency room, something. I don't even really remember.
Yeah.
And we are just like I'm put in there and I'm like, what's going on? Like I can't lay down. It just feels like a knife. So I'm there for like 2.5 hours.
Oh, wow.
Chest X-ray. You have pneumonia. Like you're safe, good to go. And so the next day I have to like get up, and so I'm like wheeled onto the airplane because I can't walk at this point. I'm so ill.
Oh, shit.
And so I get off the plane. I go home. Well, I like make it home 6.5 hours later, or whatever the flight is. And then no, it's like 5 hours, but besides the point. And so I get home, and I sit at home for maybe half an hour, and then I'm like, I need to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
So we go to the emergency room, and that night, that's sort of the last thing I remember is walking into the walking into the emergency room and doing the intake stuff. And then that's the last thing I remember. And then really the next thing I remember is probably a month later, 3.5 to a month later, waking up in a coma and not really know what's going on. So during that month, what had happened is that I contracted strep group A, just like normal strep throat. And when I was moving out of my dorm room, I had a bots hit my knee, and right where it hit it mutated into flesh-eating bacteria.
Oh.
And it's just sort of 1 in a billion. Like, usually comes in cuts or like open wounds, and I'm like, yeah, nothing. Like, there's no cuts on me, and so, yeah, just 1 in a billion chance, pretty much.
That's crazy.
1 in a trillion, or like greater, smaller, whatever is more. And and so I just had a lot of like. It was all coming to this point right at that time. And so, yeah, all my organs were failing. Like, just a lot of things were going on, and no one knew what for a long time. So they finally figured out it was something to do with the bruise on my leg and stuff. And I have to be put on life support, and that makes you go into medically-induced coma for however long it took me. So I woke up a month later at Mayo Clinic here in the Valley, and I was there from May 10th to August 16th, where I had like the major amputation of all 4 of my limbs except like half of my thumb, and I got some knuckles on my right hand and my knee on my right leg. And then after that, I went to St. Joe's Neurological Institute for about 3.5 weeks. They wanted me there for 3 months.
Wow.
Get me the hell out of here. And so I was only there for 3 weeks, thank God. And and then after that, I was home.
Wow.
And that was last September. Was it last September? No, I'm pretty sure it was last September. Yeah.
It's only been a year. Wow.
Since I've been out of.
Since you've been out of the hospital.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, that made sense.
That's crazy. For some reason, I thought it was longer than that. Like it happened a while.
Well, yeah, because I like. It works out to where I'm like just a year off of like what I was before in school, so I should be a senior, and now I'm just a junior.
Okay.
So it's kind of just like that year off of.
Yeah.
And then I went back to school this August. So, like, it's really just I didn't go to school. So it is, like, a year and a half-ish.
Wow. That's crazy. So after all of that, so how long did it take you to, like, kind of come back into...
Yeah, so, like to sort of realize what I was dealing with within the hospital. Yeah, like, when I woke up in the hospital, I couldn't even tell I didn't have my legs.
Oh, really?
And I had my hands wrapped up, so I couldn't tell that I... couldn't even move that stuff, and because I was so drugged up and weak and everything, so definitely took me a long time. And I definitely remember like the moment, because they definitely told me multiple times, I just kept forgetting and stuff. But I do remember the first time I asked, because for a while I was on a letterboard because I had this trait, so I couldn't talk for a while, so it was just like nodding for and stuff, and that was not fun. But yeah, I do remember when I remember for the first time I was talking with my physical therapist in the ICU, and she, I just remember the look on her face when I asked her, because she could tell she did not want to answer it, because that's a terrible thing to do with anyone and stuff. And so obviously the emotions did hit, but obviously not as well because of, or thank God I had all those drugs, because I couldn't deal with that emotion at that time in the state I was. Thank God for it. But you know what I do.
Yeah. I know.
But it allowed for that emotions to be set back for a little, and that was something I kind of remember. One of the first things I remember was being told that and stuff. And I mean, it's still weird to look down at your hands and stuff, but you go to a lot of therapy.
Right. So did you, when you came out of your coma, did you have to like relearn everything, like speech and stuff like that?
Yeah, so when I woke up out of the coma, since I couldn't talk because I had that trach thing,
Mm-hmm.
like learning how to re-speak was kind of like normal.
Okay.
You had the, like, it's just you're really weak.
Right.
You're a whisperer.
Because sometimes you hear stories about people coming out of comas and they literally have to like learn everything again.
Oh
like,
yeah,
you know.
I had no like they thought a lot of the oxygen was cut off because I like technically died one time.
Wow.
And so they thought like that would have cut off enough oxygen to my brain to have some mental impacts by it and stuff, but. No, I was fine. I was like calling out my friends on the letterboard and stuff,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, we don't need to test him out."
Yeah.
And, so I was blessed in that
Yeah.
way specifically. So I didn't really have to learn like cognitively anything.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
Because relearning all the physical stuff was enough. But
Yeah.
it was really like it was so hard to learn all those things until you gained your strength back. So that was
Right.
the first thing, just doing like tiny exercises, and once you like. Learned really how to learn this new life, and then it really caught on. But I mean,
Yeah.
first you're stuck that you don't want to learn your new life, and then it takes so much longer to learn that. And, I mean, I'm still learning.
Right.
But, you know, there's phases and stuff, but yeah, definitely in that time it took a while.
I bet. So I know that you're involved with K2 Adventures, and then you actually started your own foundation.
Well, not yet.
Right? No, not yet. You're on your way too. So. And so tell me like a little bit about how you got involved with that, because I know like K2 is very big with helping people with disabilities and all sorts of just, you know, people who, you know, are, what's the word I'm looking for? That
Or need.
are in need. Yeah. So, because I know like, you know, I've briefly I've known about their company or what they do for others, because like they do a lot of like active adventures and stuff like that, correct? I mean, because I haven't really looked in.
Like the K2 Adventures Foundation, which
Okay.
is a nonprofit, and that's where I work under and stuff and speak with them and stuff. But I met them through a mutual friend who got us connected, and they've been like immense in my healing process and just sort of helping with a lot of just getting to like know the right people.
Yeah.
Like, because that's really half of it, is just like
Right.
knowing all the resources that you have out there and stuff. Specifically for me and stuff, just completely new to the process. And they were like, well, no, they were like 10 minutes just up from my house that I grew up in
Wow.
before this all went down. So it's crazy they were only right there and I didn't even know about
Yeah.
them. And so that was really cool because they do a lot with people with disabilities, and I now sort of oversee a fund that helps people with limb loss. So I oversee all that. So
Yeah.
that's really fun, and helping kids, and like we gave a foot to one kid,
Yeah.
just doing all these different things. And then K2 Adventure Travels are separate.
Okay.
It's separate from K2 Adventures Foundation, and that is a travel expedition company where we lead hikes, like in Machu Picchu, in Peru, Nepal, Base Camp Everest, like Kilimanjaro, Grand Canyon.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm doing the hike in Australia in December with them and stuff, but yeah, so that's separate. But in those places, we support local orphanages and
Okay.
stuff. And so that's really fun because on those trips you participate in service events.
Oh,
if you
awesome.
Want to,
Yeah.
of working in the orphanage or just doing whatever to help out. And then there's like the safari component if you're in Africa.
Oh, so cool.
So there's a lot of components
Yeah.
related to travels and stuff.
Okay. Yeah. See, I thought they were kind of, so they're separate entities from you.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I didn't realize that. I thought it was like
they
the
have very similar
yeah.
names, yeah.
And so I was at you had a fundraiser like a couple months ago and you were doing raising money for people with limb loss.
Yeah, was
correct?
that the golf tournament?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, the
we're
golf
at the
tournament. Yeah. And so is that what you're trying to start? You're trying to like build your like a company or just like a
I definitely
foundation?
want to do a foundation, and but yeah, that was the second one because the first one was put on by like just my family and
Right.
friends and like just amazing people around me. And then this year we worked with K2 to sort of expand, and we really got in a lot. And yeah, so that was all that money's raised is directly helping people with limb loss.
That's great.
So yeah, we've been able to give back about half of it already.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we're definitely working. So it's really fun to see that
Yeah.
sort of come to fruition, and give back.
That's so great. Yeah, because I mean, that's I feel like that's one of the most important things is to like, you know, and because I mean, I know I can't speak for myself, but you know, I feel like when you lose a limb, you're obviously losing a part of yourself. So to be able to help someone like kind of regain like that quote unquote missing piece, you know, like could only just help. And you know, I remember when
and
you,
it's like the cool things of like, it's really hard seeing them because like one person just recently had it, so they're in a very different mental stage of where they were. And so I just remember being in that place, and now that I'm in a very different place, I have a very different mindset. And I remember when I was in the hospital, I had like this energy healer who's a cognitive therapist who also does Reiki, who's a hypnotist, like just this comes to an amazing woman, comes like and been my therapist for like the last year and a half, and just been this amazing person. I remember in the hospital, she's like, "You're going through the worst part of it, and like the best is yet to come."
Yeah.
And I now looking back at it, realize that, and at that time, I was just like, "What? Like, obviously, what do you mean? Like, what the hell?"
Yeah.
And but no, it just really came to that point when I saw someone else, and I'm like, "Oh, like you don't understand how much you have in front of you." So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What allows me.
Because I remember the young girl that you gave the prosthetic to. Avery. She was like, I remember her speech. It was so inspiring because she was like, I can't wait to get back to running and gymnastics or whatever she was doing. I was like, oh, that's just so. It's just so amazing that like giving back like that can just, and having her like missing, you know, like that's not taking away from her dreams. You know, she's like, this will only now help continue them.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing with K2, because one of the missions, or the mission statement is where others see limitations, we see possibilities, and it's sort of not like, it's like, yeah, you have this dream, let's just make it work whatever you want to get there. So it's not worrying about all that, like that's what we're here to do, and that we're going to do whatever it takes to like, because like I'm going swimming with sharks in Australia at this one place, and I was like, what is that going to take? They're like, don't worry, like we already figured it out, we got it all planned, and like, so that's sort of like,
that's so awesome.
And so if we can do that in a very, not swimming with sharks, but just like paying for a medical bill so a family can have something, so they don't have to put their money towards it, like that's a relief.
Yeah.
It's a major thing for people that not a lot of people have to do. Right. So it's cool to be able to do it in that way as well. And yeah, it's pretty awesome.
That's so cool. Like, I mean, because I know you said you were climbing a mountain in Australia, and so it's like, so it's pretty wild. Like when you know, you don't really think like, oh, like that person, they probably wouldn't be able to do that, but it's so great that there's like a foundation that's like bringing people to do this. And
the cool thing is once you get like into like, you see that there are a lot of people doing these things. There's a lot of foundations out there, and that's the cool thing of you do get to meet these incredible people who are doing incredible things, and you're like, wow, I didn't even know there was this entire, like, pretty much other world just out there. And so
yeah, I'm sure that's like one of the coolest parts about it is just meeting people that are like each other, trying to, you know, do these amazing things. And because I mean,
obviously, we're here. And I like received intentions from Letitia, which we got connected through a person that we got connected through K2, and you're just like 1, 2, 3, and now like.
Yeah.
Isn't it like 4 degrees of separation?
Exactly,
We're all, like, right next to each other. And you're like, how did you know that person? Like, when I go to all these events, I'm like, wait, I went to school with your kids. Like, I know you.
Yeah.
It's just so funny where you start realizing everyone's really just right there.
It just kind of just makes the world so much smaller, and and when you realize like K2 was up the street from you. You know, it's like, what?
I've been like going to that plaza for like food and like for like 5 years, and I'm like, I didn't even know it was obviously I wouldn't have like an idea. It's just crazy.
It's like one of those things that's you see it over and but you're like, what's that?
It didn't even like register.
That's nuts. So like who have you met like that's like maybe that you haven't met yet that really inspires you, that's someone like you that is either doing good for people who have needs, or that you know, just
Killing
kind of,
it at
yeah,
life.
just killing it in life.
Yeah.
That you really look up to, that just kind of makes you want to like get out there more and just keep going with what you're doing.
Yeah, I think definitely like, I mean, like you draw inspiration from your family.
Yeah.
That's pretty easy for me. So like that's easy. Like that's where I can get a lot of
Mm-hmm.
motivation. But I guess people I looked up to is, or like I guess, I really like this. Well, I got to meet him. His name's Kyle Maynard, and he's a quadruple amputee, but his is congenital, so he was born with it.
Okay.
And he worked with K2, and so that's how I got to meet him. But he has an SB. He's climbed Mount Aconcagua, which is in Argentina. He's climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. He's climbed Mount Kosciuszko in Australia. He's climbed all these amazing
That's so
places.
crazy.
And like he's a personal trainer. Like has his own CrossFit
Wow.
gym. He's an author. He's a public speaker. Just like this incredible guy who's just really. Whole point is like no excuses is one of his main things.
Yeah.
Like no matter what, I'm gonna do this. And like so. I got to talk on the phone with him and become connected with him and meet him. So it was really cool in that way to have someone like right there who's sort of, I mean, he's a bit older than me,
Yeah.
but like a younger guy because just like a lot of people who were like in the hospitals and around me were older people. So that was cool having
Right.
that younger person. But I don't know. I liked a lot of like big public speakers. I like a lot of those speeches and stuff. And books. I read a lot. I like books. But I guess like I really look up to my bosses and what they do, and my personal trainer who's awesome and stuff. And I love my therapist. So like I have different people in different aspects of my life.
So yeah, I mean, like I think it's important to have people that inspire. So the more, I mean, I feel the more the merrier. You know.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
There's always, even if it's like. It could be someone that just stops by for 3 seconds. You're like, oh wow, like they just something clicks, and it's like, okay, I gotta go home and do this real quick, because I just got thousands of things that are inspiring
or
me.
just like making my Instagram feed just a lot better people.
Yeah.
Like just unfollowing all the unnecessary.
Oh, I do that at least once a month.
that I follow, and then you're like, oh, like when it couldn't be used in a good way when you're just reading positive stuff.
Yeah.
And so like I do. Like that way to see people and stuff, but definitely, yeah, a lot of like motivational, but business people too, because of my school and what it.
Yeah.
I like that whole aspect of like providing a service for a community and doing that and stuff. So, I don't know, a lot of people.
Yeah, that's great though. I mean, that's awesome. And so what are some like goals that you're striving for, like looking towards, that may either be like upcoming or like that ones that you just have way down the line?
Yeah, I mean, definitely this upcoming hike is going to be like the summit, one of the mountains, seven summits of the world. So that will be really fun because like, I mean, I was an international affairs major and I've never like really traveled to Mexico once. So like, I've been like dying to like, get out of the country and like experience. So that's really a big thing for me. And then I think other big goals is to sort of move away from the wheelchair and get more like just my legs. And I started to do that when I work and stuff. Now I'm on ASU campus, like half a mile. So soon I'll be able to get to that and stuff. But there's definitely like those physical goals that I have for me of getting more independent in that way. And then like getting back to driving. Yeah. Like that's one goal, and then independent living too. But then like major goals for like myself is to like eventually build my foundation and sort of see what that means for it, and because that takes a while, you're going to do it the right way and everything. So, but yeah, and then graduating.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But yeah,
that's great. I mean, because I follow you on Instagram and see like all your progress from like, and when you post all your doing your sessions and things like that. So it's great to see like that you're out of the when you are out of the wheelchair and like doing things, like you'll post pictures playing golf and all sorts of stuff. And I think it's just amazing. I feel like it's really exciting to finally to be able to get back on your on your feet again. Yeah,
that'd be fun.
Yeah,
it is fun. Yeah.
But so is I just lost my train of thought. Oh, so with regards to hiking, have you been doing like any sort of training? Yeah.
Well, I train with my personal trainer, who's also like a mountain guide
Mhm.
for K2, so he definitely knows what I need to be training and stuff.
Yeah.
But for the hike, I'll be hand cycling a lot of it.
Okay.
And so with that, we've been training like certain muscle groups and stuff. But I'm getting a bike. We're getting it on like November 26th. We're going down to Tucson.
Oh,
and
cool.
Then I'll be training with that just on different bike packs and like other shit. Stuff.
Is it like a pretty intense hike, or is it?
No, it is like we're making it into 2 days. You could probably do it in 1 day
Okay.
and stuff. But since I'm just doing the bike for the first time, but it's like a big walking path, so you're able to take like this a bike, a hand cycle up a majority of it, and then I'll just sort of walk and summit at the top.
Gotcha. That's pretty cool.
And then I'll write it
Yeah,
down.
nice.
Fly down. I'll see you later.
Dude, you gotta put a GoPro on.
That would be cool. I have one. That's a good idea.
Yeah. That'd be a great video.
I'm gonna do that now.
So when you go to Australia, are you just going for the hike? Or are you gonna be there for a bit?
Yeah, we're gonna be there for 9 days. So the hike's only 2 days, and then we're gonna like tool around Sydney and other places,
Nice.
and like go to Koala Bear Farm.
Oh, that's awesome.
We're gonna go through like through the Sydney Harbor on a boat and stuff, just like other fun stuff. I have really no idea,
Yeah.
and so it will be fun.
That's exciting.
And so they've been a bunch, and we have K2 has some good friends that live in there or live there, so they're ready to show us
That's so
around,
cool.
So it'll be fun.
Oh, that's so exciting. I am jealous. I want to go hiking with you.
Okay, well, there'll be other mountains.
Yeah. Are you planning to do more things like that, more like big adventure type deals?
I definitely want to do Mount Fuji in Japan, because that you're able to take a bike all the way.
Okay, call me when you do that one, because I want to do that.
I want to go to Japan very
Yeah.
bad. So that'd be really fun.
Yeah.
And so that's like very down the line.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Mom, I got this on the books, just so you know. And so that'll be fun. I want to get like a bigger trip of like more of my friends. And stuff.
Yeah.
So it'll be like.
Oh, that's so cool.
That'll
Yeah, I've always wanted to go to Japan so bad. It's like one of
my
those
dad
things.
Played baseball for a while in the minor leagues and was on the Indians for a little bit. So he was in Japan for a while. For
Oh,
baseball,
cool.
So he got that whole experience, and he loves it.
Oh, that's so awesome. Is your dad fluent in Japanese?
No,
Or no.
no.
Okay.
He's from Hawaii.
Okay.
He took Japanese, so he does know. Actually, that you say that, he does know some Japanese because it's the thing they took.
Yeah.
We're in Hawaii for him and stuff. That's awesome.
So are you guys from Hawaii, or just your
my
dad?
dad's born
Your
and
dad.
raised
Okay.
there, and then my mom's dad. My
Okay.
maternal grandfather's from Oahu.
Okay, cool. And then, but was your mom born in like?
My mom was born in Colorado.
In Colorado.
And
Oh.
my grandparents met at Colorado State.
Oh, cool.
And then they moved to Arizona, and then my dad came out to play baseball at ASU, and that's where my parents met.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yup. College sweetheart.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. But
I can tell you this.
Yeah. Tell me something.
I just got an acting job.
No shit.
Yeah, and so what I'm doing is, while I was at Mayo, I had to get one final like surgery redone or like reversed last July. So I was there for a couple of days, and like then I was able to have fun because like nothing was serious.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, nurses, like let's go mess around. Not like that. I just mean like take me somewhere.
Yeah.
And so I noticed that on the normal person elevator, there's no sixth floor, but on the employee elevator, there's a sixth floor. And I'm like, I want to go to the sixth floor, and they're like, there is no sixth floor. I'm like, you're lying to me because I can. Let's go to the employee elevator right now and see if there's not a sixth floor. And they're like, who the hell is this kid?
Like,
why is he
shit.
And so, what is on the sixth floor of Mayo's? That's where they do all the student training. And so they have a bunch of like, kind of how this is set up. They have a bunch of little like fake doctors' offices, and then so for the medical students who train, they deal with like the actors portraying an annoyed patient, a sick patient, whatever you do, like a patient portfolio. And the lady who runs the program was just randomly on the floor that day and saw me. And it was like, oh, you'd be perfect because like we were able to, because like they want to like I'm a very. Not a lot of people are like me. Is what I'm saying. And so it's a very good thing because, like, for roadside training, like the moulage meal, or I don't know what that phrase is, where they put all the makeup on you and like look like I just got in a car accident to train EMTs,
Right.
or like So and so I had to start going to acting school.
Oh, that's cool.
And so I do it twice a week for like script acting and improv acting and stuff.
Oh, fun.
And it's just a weird little thing that happened to my life within this last like 3 months and stuff. So it's just a weird thing.
Oh, that's so cool.
Like, one play in high school because our school made us take drama.
Okay.
And so it was As You Like It by Shakespeare, and I was the lead dude. I tend to overachieve without like not wanting to, and I'm just like, why do you do this to yourself?
So basically, what you're saying is you're the best without trying to be.
No, that's not. No. It's because no one else took the role. That's what it was.
Okay,
and
sure.
I was just nice enough to say yes, I'll do it, and to memorize the lines. No, but just a weird little thing that came.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
How are you liking it? Do you like?
Well, I've been going through the process, so I haven't started like the jobs yet.
Okay.
It's sort of like when they have jobs come up and when I want them.
Right.
And so my first day actually, it was yesterday.
Awesome.
So that's when I could start working and stuff. But acting class is definitely something different. It's fun. It definitely teaches you a lot just about like just listening to the other person and noticing a lot more about body language and different stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So that's definitely a cool aspect, but it's definitely hard for me to like get mad and like that because I'm a person who laughs when they're nervous.
Me too.
And it's like, let me just make a joke. Like that's how I'll deal with it.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, Kainoa, you actually have to get mad. And like my partner is 15 years old. I'm not gonna yell at this girl. And like so, it definitely is taking me a while and stuff, but it's definitely fun and it's just like something I did not know I'd be doing.
Yeah. Well, I feel like those are the funnest things is like you're like, how did I end up here?
Like, how did this come into my life? What's happening? And it just kind of reminds me of this one quote. Andy Andrews, he's an author, wrote this book called The Noticer. Incredible. But he says in one part, like, in our lives we're either coming out of a crisis, we're in the middle of a crisis, or we're going into a crisis. Like, that's just how life is. Yeah. And like, because before I really liked to I had my life laid out for like the next 7 years before this whole thing. That was like my type A personality. Like, these are my classes, 18 credits each semester. I'll be able to graduate in 3.5 years and do this, and this, and that's like. Well, then that's not what really happened, you know.
Right.
And so, but I definitely had to switch from that mindset because in the hospital I was so stuck to it. Of like, because I took like 18 credits. Like, that's what I thought I was going to take this semester.
Right.
That's really not how my life turned out.
Yeah.
So I'd end up dropping 2 classes because I was like, you're doing... I had to realize, because I just feel like I'm not doing as much, but I was like, well, you're actually going to school, have a job, and an internship, and doing more than you were doing last, and with, like, half a thumb. Yeah. And so it definitely took a lot of therapy for my therapist to, like, tell me that 800 times.
Yeah.
Something, you know... you finally break, and
that's usually how it is. You know, you need to be. It's like you hear it the first time, you're like, yeah.
Or it's from your mother.
Yeah, exactly.
And like she was like, I know, you know, we tend to teach the lessons we need to learn the most. And I was like, why are you right all the time? Like right here, you're gonna make me cry. No. And so I was like, oh yeah, like. So definitely taking a step back.
Yeah.
And like looking at it, and I think that's weirdly acting kind of makes you analyze everything.
Definitely.
So it's just like weird.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
Yeah, I remember when I took an acting class. I had to for film school, and they're like, you have to.
You're in film school.
Yeah, I graduated. Yeah, but yeah, and I did not want to take an acting class. I did not. There was something like that made me feel uncomfortable about like putting myself in front of an audience to like do things, you know.
I'm definitely more the person like, let me write the script.
Yeah.
I'll tell you how to do stuff.
That's why I love being behind the camera. But I mean, when I was growing up and doing like dumb little short films in my backyard with my friends, I was obviously in them, but to sit in front of like a group of peers and people that like you go to class every day with, you're like, do I have to do it?
Yeah, like I'm more terrified of doing this acting class in front of like 20 people maybe than when I spoke in front of 400 people.
Yeah.
Like my nerves are very like I'm more excited for that than I'm like because it's very different for me.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm not yelling at 400 people, and so that's just like a funny like little switch.
Yeah, I remember I had to we were doing like an exercise where we had to pick an animal and like embody that animal and like move around the class as that animal, and then people had to guess what you were. So I just remember like, oh geez, okay, and I was like, I decided to like do a gorilla thing and just like I had to walk around the whole classroom like hunched over and like on my backs of my hands, and I was like, what? And like halfway through it, I'm just thinking to myself like, what the hell am I doing right now? But I don't think I did very well because I could never really fully commit to anything. I was just too self-conscious.
That's like the thing I had to get through.
Yeah.
My acting coach is like, Kainoa, you have to get past this. I was like, all right, I'll try. It's my second class. I really don't know what I'm doing, but all right, I'll read the book you told me.
That's so funny.
That's what I'm good at.
There's been moments where like I've had to be in my own movies too, and I'm working past like I'm not trying to be an actor, but you know it's like I'm working past like that thing of self-conscious. Like don't get self-conscious. No one's gonna care except for you, and you know.
That's like when I come off of all of my speeches, I'm just like, wow, that sucks. My mom's like crying. She's like, what do you mean? Like, and my friends are like, kind of like, what the hell? I'm like, well, I messed up like here, and I forgot this little bit. They're like, no one else knew.
Yeah.
It was like, it was really good. Like you're fine, and that's just like the self-critic.
Yeah.
That I have to.
I mean, we're our own worst critics. I mean.
Yeah, and because it's like. And because it's like personal
work
too, and for like making movies and stuff, you're like, are you gonna like grade me? And then like when like I get feel bad because like after me they do the live auction, so I'm like, oh my god, please make more money than last year. Just like, please just donate more than last year of the live auction. So like, you're like, oh my god, they didn't like it enough. Like what the hell? So, but I mean that's what it means.
Yeah.
Speak and stuff and act. So.
I've slowly kind of worked through like I'm still working on it, you know, trying to like let go of like fear of judgment and just be like, you know, if they liked it, they liked it, and if they didn't, they didn't, and that's it. You know, you can't like force people to like you or
and I definitely learned that lesson hard, this whole thing, and I really got it in 2 senses. Like, definitely, when I'm up on stage, I have this weird self-confidence of, like, it's not like they're not going to clap for me. They're just the mean people at this point.
Yeah.
Like, so it's this weird thing of, like, they're going to clap for me no matter what I say.
Oh, I love it.
That's not true. That is not true. But I can say some pretty, like stereotypical things, and, like, but obviously my speeches aren't like that. And I do. But, like, that's sort of this weird confidence that I, like, this false confidence I give myself. They're like, Kainoa, you're fine. Like, they're going to clap. You can fall on your ass. And, like, they'll probably still clap for you.
Yeah.
And so...
you have to hype yourself up somehow.
Yeah, like, it's like you got to fake it just for those 30 seconds of, like, telling yourself that instead of being nervous, you're excited. Like, what's the body reaction of being nervous? Like you get nervous. Like... It's kind of the same body reaction of excitement. You're just telling yourself, I'm nervous in one aspect, and I'm just excited in one aspect.
Exactly. I forget who told it to me. I don't even know if I listened to it somewhere, but the person said... I think it was Mel Robbins. Oh, that's where I heard that little thing from. Where it was like... it might have been. I don't know, but it was like you have to start thinking... Switch your thinking from... You're not nervous. You're just very excited because really, I mean, you are. You're like to get up in front of a crowd. Like you think you're nervous because it's like those jitters, the stomach butterflies, and.
But like, isn't that what you feel when you're like opening up presents
or
something?
Yeah.
Like you feel nervous, or like but like you feel that same emotion. So it's just like.
Oh, it was Will Smith.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was talking about.
He's awesome.
He was talking about when the day he was in somewhere where he was going to go skydiving, and so he was drunk one night with his friends, and he's like, we're going to go skydiving tomorrow, and he's like, yeah, and he wakes up, he goes, we're not really going tomorrow, are we, or today, are we? And he goes, they're like, yeah, we planned it last night, and they're like, he's like, oh shit, and he just remembers being super scared all the way up. He like gets in a plane, they're about to jump, he's like just freaking out, and then he goes out the window, and he's like, and then I went from immediately being frightened to having the most bliss in my life. And he said that's when he realized that like at the edge of fear and moving past that edge of fear is where the most excitement in life is. And he's like, as soon as you can realize that you're just excited for things and not scared or nervous is when you live life the most.
Like this, well, my masseuse is very into astrology, so she's telling me, like, this last month has been a lot of Chap energy, and it has been, like, a mentally tough month for me, and it's just been, like, a lot of stuff, and it's supposed to turn soon, so I'm like, thank you. And so, besides the point, but she was, where was I going?
Are you from LA?
I'm from Scottsdale.
I'm just kidding. It's funny because a lot of people, you go through LA and it's like a lot of people say that stuff, but it's I mean, it's hard not to, especially when you're really into it. And it gets a lot of, the thing I hate is it gets a lot of like a bad rap because people think you're kooky. And because I work with someone and I was telling him about a movie I saw recently, and it had to do with like crystals and energy and just like the universe. Yeah, I'm starting to collect crystals. Like, this is my mom's, but I'm starting to collect little crystals and things and all sorts of different stones but people, I feel like they don't get it, or they're not like receptive enough to get it, so they're like, you're just
not,
weird.
Like, holding my whole life to it. I mean, just listen to it. Like, it's there. And obviously, I like have a belief in God and other things.
Yeah.
So I'm very like just open minded.
Yeah, I mean,
that's why. Like,
that's how you should. People should. I mean, I feel like that's where like people start to get real judgy, is when they're like don't want to be open to it. At least my belief is at least listen to it. And at the end of the conversation, you don't agree, then fine. But at least listen.
Wants to like try on an idea. Think as soon as you like, oh, let me think. Like, if I was agreeing with that opinion, they think you're like locked it in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, just think that for 1 second, the other person might be right. Just for 5 seconds. You don't have to do it for 10.
I mean, even if you don't believe it, like at least respect it, because I feel like people just. They hear that you do this and they're like, oh, you're that. They associate you by being something that you're like, really you're not. You're like, I'm not like, it's not like I'm fully into it. I just like these aspects. And I mean, I feel like that's what religion, in religion too, is like unless you're like super, super into it, there's like aspects that you choose of your religion that you like really follow by, or you don't, or I mean, so I think people just get real judgy because there's the guy I work with, or one of them. I started explaining the movie and he just goes, ugh, and I'm like, all right. So I stopped the I kind of like moved the conversation away because I didn't want to ruin it for me, because I liked the movie. I like kind of my belief with crystal energy and those types of things. And so it's like, if I continue this conversation, it might get heated and I don't want that. But yeah, so anyway, I derailed you from what you were saying about astrology. Unless there's
I told her. Okay. Yes. It's so not what it was. It's so hype. It's so not what it should be. And but no, so it's been mentally tough. So I was just like chilling in my room listening to music after a long day, and my high school graduation song came on, and I like equate like songs with emotions. For some reason, it just works for me. And like it brought me back to all those like fun emotions of like going off and graduating and like all that like you're so excited for the future and like what the hell is going to happen. And I was like not in a good place at that time, and I was like, what if I take all those feelings and just apply it to this moment right now? And I was like, well, I mean, look how cool your life is going to be in a month, and like you have no idea where you're going to be in 3 months.
Yeah.
Like, you're literally just sort of were given like a rebirth. Like I can really start over again in my life. Like I have to, but it's like this cool way for me to sort of place those feelings of like excited for the future, graduation. I don't know why the song just sort of hit it, like just made it hit home for me. But then I sort of just put all of those emotions into that place in me. And I was like, oh, okay, like this is cool. Like I'm excited for the future, like planning long term. But it's just weird how I could immediately change state of mind and framework just by like, well, just like the song or just like being in that space. And like, wow, like your bad emotions really do take over you quick and for like stupid reasons. And I'm like, all those thoughts were sitting there and like all the, like I was going to Australia. Like I had all these amazing things in my life already. I just like I don't know, you just get shut off for
Yeah,
a second, and
it's pretty wild, like what your mind can do to you, like either in a very positive way or in a very negative way. Like just by one thought will lead you down a rabbit hole of either cool and amazing ideas or like, oh, what, remember that, and like how bad that, and blah blah blah.
Like a creative flow, another one can be like an anxiety.
Yeah,
that sends you like down the rabbit hole, like what you're saying.
Yeah, because you could like I like, what was it the other day? I was just starting to think. I was actually it started with a fun memory, and then I'm like, oh yeah, but then that happened, and then I'm like, remember that, and then it just got super down, and I'm like, oh, what did I do to myself? And then
people we always just go low on ourselves.
Yeah,
especially on ourselves. We're like, why did that person like cough while I was speaking? Like maybe the person has a cough, Kainoa, and they've got food in their throat. Not that they hate you and they think your speech is bad. Like I immediately go down this way, and the person just had a cough.
Yeah,
maybe they didn't like it, but like really they probably just coughed. And so it's like it's crazy how we immediately just go low so fast.
Yeah, that's definitely something I've also tried to work on. Is not. Yeah. Gee, like I said, we kind of criticize ourselves the worst. So it's like, how do I not do that every time? How do I
especially like creative people, we're always like, mine's always thinking like, it's great that I can write these good emotional speeches and stuff, but it's like I don't want to be thinking about that when I'm like 10:30 at night chilling, just playing video games or like watching Parks and Rec.
Yeah,
that's not what I want to be dealing with. So it's like, but that's like so many like the greatest artists.
Yeah,
are usually like the most messed up people.
Right. Like
Tchaikovsky, the Russian composer, like one of the most messed up people ever.
Yeah.
And like, I studied a lot of Russian. So like a lot of those people are messed, but like you see it come out in great ways.
I also think like as you go back in time that the artists and creative people that were messed up, they didn't have like outlets
they
to
didn't have the correct outlets.
Yeah, there was no one, like you couldn't go up to like your friend and say, hey dude, I'm feeling these emotions, can you help me? And they're like, you're insane, and then they would get locked up.
We still do that.
Well, yeah, I mean, but it's
we don't lock them up.
We don't lock them up.
Say deal with it yourself.
Yeah, we give you some pills and you scurry along. But I mean, I feel like it's, as time goes on, it's definitely more accepted. People are like, oh wow, let me help you, like, because like their like suicide rates are getting younger, and it's like, well, how do we prevent these things, and can like let's work it out together, and so it's as time goes on, like being able to deal with our thoughts with help of others and loved ones is only becoming better and easier.
I mean, we have social media too.
That too, which also fucks people up.
Or like really harm, because like you have 9-year-olds getting validity from other people around the world. Lights through a screen, and I'm like, at 9 years old, I don't even know what I was thinking about at 9 years old.
At 9 years old, what was I doing? I don't know. I probably was playing with toys. I was building Legos and leveling up Pikachu.
Yeah, like I was playing Pokemon. That was like the greatest thing of my life. So like, wow, I spent way too much time on that. I should make that up. Like me and my cousins in Hawaii. Wow, that was our vacations. We'd be on the beach. My mom would be like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Sorry, mom."
Yeah, I had a friend that every time we'd go to San Diego, we would always play video games, and he lived with his grandparents, and so his grandparents and my parents would be like, "Guys, come to the beach." Instead of sitting in the room playing video games, we're like, no.
And like Arizona, we had good excuses.
Yeah,
it's hot.
It's hot.
So
there was no excuses. So you were saying that, like I'm going in a completely different direction now. When you, before everything happened, you said you were very like type A, very detail, or like everything has to be like planned out.
Like type A in a way.
Okay.
Like my life was a mess all the time. Like everything was like my desk. First of all, my desk was very organized, but I just had a lot of stuff.
Gotcha.
Like, that's how I was.
Yeah.
And so like type A in that like I had a plan for my life, and like I needed my grades to be very good. Like I needed to like I was a founding father of my fraternity. Like I was in student government. I was on like town committees to help with the town. I worked for the school. Like I did way too but I was an out-of-state student. I didn't know anyone, so I threw myself into everything with friends, and it worked out. And
that's good.
And granted, my mental health, like I was stressed all the time, but that's college. And no, but definitely in that way of just really planning my life out and living to that plan, and like.
So are you are you still like that same guy in a way, or is it like completely different?
Well, like, I was also on the other side. I don't know. I have my med card, but like, I also smoke. Like, I'm Hawaiian.
Yeah.
I also had the very opposite side of like, I loved Manhattan and that flow and like that intensity, but I liked going back to my small college in the suburbs, and I also just like not being that other. So I also was that like calmer person.
Right.
Too. I was.
You could balance both. Yeah.
And now my life is. I move at a very different pace,
Mm-hmm.
so I no longer need to be that. And so I'm sort of noticing that I was that way because I was like finding happiness or like those things I needed to achieve those things for myself. And now it's like I'm happy in the process.
Gotcha.
And so like my mind shift has shifted. My mind has shifted a little. And so I think I'm definitely still the same person. I still have good like high standards when it comes to like school. To like a bad point of just like and so like granted I don't always do all the homework, but like
does anyone do all the homework?
No, and I also have the other side of me too, but it's definitely just a whole different mindset now, but I'm still definitely that same type of person I feel when you talk to my friends and stuff like that.
Cool. Well, yeah, I was just curious if any like, I mean, obviously like we can't like change who we are, but like definitely our way of thinking can change.
Yeah, and definitely like how I think about myself and like who I hang out with and what I watch, and like a lot of that stuff I'm definitely noticing a lot more of how those external things impact me, so I'm taking much more care of my time with and stuff like that to try and become better and
definitely
stuff, so.
Yeah, I mean I've done that a lot too in like regards to
I'm trying, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean that's all you can do is just try your best, because as time has gone on, you realize like, why do I hang out with so and so, and you're like, well, he's kind of a bad influence. She's not like the best person, and
you're like, I've known these people for so long and I don't know anything about them.
Or you
except like I know like my brothers in my fraternity because I was like the chaplain and I made us have conversations. Like, that's different than like my friend from childhood, Joseph. I know him well because he's my good friend, but like my like just like that second level of friends, you're like, I don't know your birthday.
Yeah, I mean I feel like we keep people around because like it's comfortable, and then we're like, okay, well, what else is there besides like, oh, I know you, and then are you okay with the sun?
Maybe just put that
okay,
second one up.
hold on. Oh yeah, I was just talking to a friend about how like finding like a good group of people, like a couple friends that have either similar goals or like at least the same mindset, and like being around people that are like-minded is the better thing to do than have like 10 friends that just want to like chill and that's it.
Like, so many people, like a major thing. I was out to dinner with some friends a little bit ago, and they're all like they're all graduating and stuff. And I was like, so what do you want to do? And they're like, I have no, I have no idea. All of them are like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, like I've been given point and direction, and like that's not a problem for me.
Yeah.
So I kind of like, and I just haven't even like thought like that in so long, and I think some people don't know what they want to do because they don't even like know themselves.
Yeah.
Like we distract ourselves when we're sitting alone, like with our or going on a run. That's not your alone time. That's you jogging.
Yeah.
And you dodging the dog and like not sitting down with yourself and like having a conversation and being like, what do you like?
Yeah.
Like what, like how are you doing today? Like what do you want to do? Like some people, I mean, for me, I read Socrates, he said like literally just know thyself. And and it was just like one line, and I was like, wow.
Right.
So he obviously, and it's laid out in so many different ways and in the Bible and other different things but that for me just like set it in, and I've definitely, for me, I guess I just had a lot of time by myself when I was stuck in a hospital bed, and for me I couldn't talk a lot from the beginning, so I was like just thinking, and then like then you're just like alone a lot of the time. So like you do have to like become comfortable with yourself, or you're just gonna drive yourself crazy. And so that was like a major thing I had to learn. I mean, I'm still learning that, and like just being okay with like being by yourself.
Right.
Because I still find myself just like distracting myself. Like,
Yeah. I mean, it's so easy to pick up your phone and
and
just...
and it's not bad sometimes.
Yeah.
Because we do need sometimes to just distract
Yeah.
ourselves. Because that's sometimes the only way to cope with things.
Right.
But you have to put an endpoint to it.
Definitely. I think where was I? I was somewhere, and I must have been talking to someone, and we were saying how another coworker, yeah, he like went with his phone for like 4 days. He just wanted to see if he could do it, and he said it was the best experience ever because most of the time you go grocery shopping, and you're the guy's scanning your food, and you're just like, okay, well, I'm gonna just get on my phone. Yeah, I don't want to talk to you, and he starts like talking to someone. He talks to the guy, and they get into a little conversation, and he finds out that a concert or something that he was into years ago is playing. He's like, so he like went, and he's like, if I wouldn't, I think that's the story. I don't know, but it was something along the lines where he struck up a conversation, and it like led to something that if he wouldn't have said, hey, how has your day going, blah blah blah, it wouldn't have gone anywhere. So he's like, he realizes now how like reliant we are on phones and all sorts of stuff to kind of separate ourselves from, or like not wanting to come up with small talk just so that you don't feel weird. But that's like some of the cool things happen. Like you meet some of the cool people in your life when you just in the weirdest places.
And that's like when you learn. Like I love that like wisdom usually comes to you in a whisper or something. Like it's never a bit like this is the lesson. And you have to be listening and noticing and like and like he was listening to the conversation and that's like.
Well, no one's ever going to walk up to you, slap you, and say, this is the thing that you're supposed to do.
This is how you change yourself.
Yeah. Or this is the person you need to meet, be friends with, date, whatever, and it's like...
And so, I mean...
Yeah, that's why I try to purge my Instagram or whatever of people whenever I need, whenever I'm feeling like I'm stuck get sucked into these things, and it's like, all right, who am I following that I shouldn't be, and how many people? 500 people. Okay, let's get it down to the,
Yeah, I didn't realize. I'm like, wow, I don't even. And like, thank God for like the algorithm and like just putting some people like that I don't even.
Yeah.
But now it's just like. So I definitely need to do that again.
Yeah, I do it like every couple months. I just look through them. I'm like, okay.
Oh, I need to buy one of the black chains.
Oh yeah.
Now that I'm staring at you.
Yeah. I'll have my dad pull out the catalog for you when you're done. Yeah, and like I think another point I was going to talk about was like setting like intentions to definitely like setting like not like necessary goals, but things like just to change your mind and be kind of make sure that you stay on like a path, or that you stay in that realm of thought that won't get you like pulled into darkness or off how you should be thinking or feeling or stuff like that. I mean, because I feel like it's like it's kind of like a guidance system. It's like a GPS, like a spiritual reminder. Yeah,
where you need to.
Yeah, I find myself like grabbing it a bunch.
I always do. I always am like fiddling with something and stuff. But yeah, definitely just a constant reminder, because I think for something I was giving a speech of, like, you reflect on your past and then you set your intentions, and that's a major part of it, and then that gives you your direction, where you want to go and stuff, and then there you rid yourself of who you were to be, RID. Right. And so the whole point of that speech was, like, for me to become the man I wanted to be, I had to stop but I said it really good. And it was improv. It was like I didn't write it out either. And it was like, for me to become the man I wanted to be, I had to stop acting like the man who I was in today, or today, or something. Yeah. And so I had to like stop wanting and being the same way that I was to become who I wanted to be. Yeah. And stuff. And man, it's not as good as this time, but on the stage, it got a. You were in the zone. Yeah, I was in the flow then. That's when I don't even know what I'm saying. Yeah. And that's when the best speeches are written. Yeah. because I tried to write one speech like written out, it did not go well.
Yeah.
And I just ended up
So yeah, sometimes I feel like I when I record these, I'm like, okay, today I have it all planned out, and it goes one way, and then I'm like, okay, it didn't really go that great, so let's do the little planning. I'm like, it didn't go that great either. So I have to, I can't find like I can never find like a balance. So like I know what you mean when like if you write it or you don't, it's like.
So I'm just out to like
Yeah.
an outline and then like a piece of paper just to keep me on a timeline.
Yeah.
Because I'm more the person who's like, I can fill the 15 minutes if you want.
Yeah.
You only have 7 minutes, Kainoa, so put it down. That's like
15. We said you had 7. Oh.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, like I think one of the things my mom says about like with the intention stick is that, you know, without setting intentions or goals or things like that, you're kind of it'd be like getting in your car without a GPS. Like where like you look, I have to go this way, but I don't know how to get there. And so it's just like one of those things where it's like, okay, when you think about it, you're like, okay, cool, it'll just remind me to keep doing that thing that will get me to where I need to be, or whether it's mentally, physically, job wise or whatever. And it's kind of a nice little reminder that you can always have, whether it's this or if it's just like a little sticky note or something.
Yeah, sticky notes are my best friend.
Yeah. Just walls of sticky notes.
When I say it on a hot mess, like, before my papers are just like everywhere. Now I'm just all on a laptop.
Yeah.
Just because it's easier and stuff. But yeah, sticky notes everywhere.
Yeah.
I just have notebooks. I'm that person that just writes all their stuff and like.
Yeah, I have that too. Like I have my journal right there. It's like pages and pages of just thoughts, and like I used to journal like all the time, but I would go like day by day and just like kind of write how like this happened and blah blah blah. And I'm like, that kind of like bored me of journaling. So now I'm doing like, I usually will bring it with me wherever, and like if I have like a certain thought, I'll be like, oh, that's interesting, and I'll just like write one line, one word, a couple words, and I feel like that's for me is more impactful than because when I look back, I'm like, oh, cool. It's just I don't like. So I went to lunch with blah blah blah. I'm like, I don't really care about that. You know, it's cool to see, but I'd rather like know what was going on in my brain instead.
Yeah, that's why I like the notes app on the phone.
Yeah.
I just have like running speech notes of like when I get an idea, I write it down, and then when I need to write a speech, I'm like, oh, I have all these like half fleshed out thoughts. And I have a bunch of post-it notes of quotes over there. Let's see what we can create. Yeah,
I have in my notes app. It's just like film ideas, and I'm like, wait, what does that even mean? I have most of them. Were like, I don't even know what I was thinking.
I know. I'm going back, like,
just deleting them all.
I get a new computer and it like brought back all the old notes and stuff. I'm like, what did any of this mean at this point in my life?
That's crazy how one point in time you can have a specific mindset, and then as time goes on, your like whole line of thought changes, and you look back, you're like, how could I ever think like that? Because like I'm just so much more happy. I'm like, you know, people talking. It's just so much easier to do these things, and when you
that's when I hear like, I forget some of the conversations are just like very language that is like, oh, like you're not able to do this, or like when I hear, it's when I talk to amputees who are talking about themselves, and like, oh, I'll never be able to do that. Well, I can't do that, and like I just haven't even thought about myself, like, cause I've gone to a lot of therapy where she's like, you can't even think this way, and so like I'm in a very different space, but like just hearing someone say that hurts me, because like I haven't even said that about myself in so long. Well, I say it quite a bit to me, but like I don't internalize it. Like when I know when she's saying it or whoever's saying it, like they sadly believe it about themselves, and so that was definitely a wake-up call when I realized, wow, you are past those thoughts now, to where like, you're not, you really don't like believe that about yourself. Like I know I can figure it out somehow. Like there's enough people, smart people. So like I really never had that. For some reason, I just was blessed. I really never had to deal with that aspect of this whole thing of like knowing that I'm gonna. Well, like, I do struggle with it, but like I know that there's like I see further down the line, and some people are so stuck in that.
Yeah,
and it's hard to get out of it when you don't have the right resources, conditions, and amazing care and staff that I did, and so it's hard.
Yeah,
but it's crazy when you hear people like, you're like, oh. that hurts me to hear you talk about
Yeah.
yourself that way, and they don't even realize it. It's just like ingrained.
Right. It's like what we
Who
were
knows
saying
what?
before. It's like how like you can get stuck in these thoughts, and it's like if you can't climb out of it, it's like it's
And
just
there's definitely times when you just need to like sit down and cry to yourself. Like,
Yeah.
I've definitely been on that Friday night where I'm like just crying to myself, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
And so like but you have to tell yourself like tomorrow I'll wake up and it'll be over.
Yeah.
Like, those emotions, like, so you can have a shitty weekend. Like, go for it. It's like, just
Yeah, that's
be
okay.
a terrible person. Eat the worst food. Like, don't talk to anyone. But on Monday, know that like that is when those emotions are done and put in a drawer and put away.
yeah.
And so, like, people really love that first part of just feeling bad for themselves because, man, it's a really good feeling to say, like, wow, the world hates me, and, like, this is not me.
Yeah.
Like, it's really easy to do that, and it, like, kind of feels good. Like, I'm not gonna, like, it's not
Yeah.
that bad. And it's, like, and so taking, not responsibility, but taking, like, action in your life and stuff, that's, like, because it's hard.
Yeah, it is. I
Change
mean,
isn't easy.
even just for anyone, like just to
Anyone
be,
to do
yeah,
anything.
yeah, and like it's so easy to sit in your dark room and turn on the TV and just be like, I'm gonna do this instead of like face my problems. And the more you do that, it's like the harder they just become. The sooner you can say like, all right, this is my problem. How do I fix it? And you're like,
Yeah.
at least if you can just start that, if you can say, okay, how do I get past my problem? Like you've started climbing the steps.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you have to do is just keep going and you'll get there. It's easier said than done, but I mean, it's just trying to like figure out with internally, like how do you move past it and how do you just like
'Cause,
keep going?
This like weirdly reminds me of like I was watching Parks and Rec last
Mm-hmm.
night, and like, have you seen the show?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tom lights an evergreen candle in Ron's cabin, and he's like, "So you're lighting the candle to what you can do? Just open the doors, and you'll let in the natural smell." And like weirdly, that just reminds me, people try so hard running from the problems, covering them up.
Yeah.
But, like the same time and energy and thought that you put towards that, you could have like directed it
Yeah.
towards something, but it's just uncomfortable. And so now I'm trying, like when I like don't want to go to a certain appointment or like workout or acting class, I sit down and think like, why do I want to do that? It's
Yeah.
because you're uncomfortable. So then just go and do it. And so then that gives me a little more, because it gets easier when you just
Yeah.
just do it.
Yeah, I
Not to
recent.
operate.
Well, I mean, I think they have a very good slogan too, because I mean, what else is there to do? Like, either do it or, you know, like why not? Why not just do it?
Yeah.
Why not? Like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? You know, like not this Saturday, but the Saturday before, I faced like a major fear of mine. I've played guitar for probably 10 years, but I've always wanted to play in front of people, always wanted to be in a band, but I just never did. And my friends were playing a show. I was there to do some video work for them. They were recording a live album, and they were actually on the podcast a couple weeks ago. And a couple bands pulled out because of the wildfires in California.
Yeah.
So they couldn't make it to the venue. They were like, I don't know what the deal was, but they just pulled out. So there was only two bands playing instead of five, and it turned into like a jam session where they pulled people up, and then people were just doing whatever.
That's cool.
Yeah. And so I jokingly said to my friend who was playing bass, I was like, I'm like 3 seconds away from pulling Joe's guitar off the wall and just playing. And then I walked away, went to the bathroom, came back, and Joe is by the stage, and he turns around at me and goes, like, yeah, he pointed. And I'm like, uh-oh. So I like downed like a cup of rum and grabbed the guitar and got on stage, played for like 10 minutes in front of like I don't know, 50 people or something.
Nice.
But yeah, it was like one of those things that was very scary, but as soon as I did it, was very liberating.
Yeah, you're like, oh, this is what I've been afraid of.
Yeah, and the whole time I'm like, I think I'm playing really bad. But I'm just like, this is awesome. You know, it just like being up there, and then my friend Steven came up and played his bass, and Graham, he was playing drums. So it was like I wasn't alone, which was nice too, because
your friends up
yeah,
there.
my friends were up there. It was I felt more comfortable, and when I needed to like not look, I would look at them. You know, so it was very like a very liberating experience to, you know. And I was like, and my thought leading up to walking on was like, who cares? Like if I mess up or whatever, because I'll never see the only people I'll see again are my three buddies. You know,
and they're gonna shit on me no matter what.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, that's how it
Either
is.
that or they'll lie to me and say I did amazing.
Yeah, like.
So yeah, it's like, why not just do that thing that's like you're scared of, because as soon as you do it, you're like, that wasn't so bad. That was actually really fun.
Yeah, I heard on something. It was like, I started trying to think this way. It was like, if this moment going to impact your life in 6 months? Is this awkwardness or whatever you're gonna do, and these people that you're gonna like go up in front of, or if you're just like arguing with someone about some stupid shit, is this gonna be impactful in your life in 6 months?
Yeah.
And I started doing that. I'm like, well, no, I don't need to argue with my brother right now. So like, I'll try.
Yeah.
Still gotta give him a dig, but like, no, but no, that just reminded me of that.
Yeah, my mom used to tell us, something she read was 10, 10, 10. So how will you feel 10 minutes from now, 10 weeks from now, 10 months from now? You know, and you could do, varying, it can be however duration you want, but depending on, could be an argument, or like purchasing something, whatever, could be for the smallest thing to the biggest thing.
Apply to all.
Yeah, and so you're like, okay, well, if I spend $500 now, I'll be happy in 10 minutes. Maybe 10 weeks from now, I'll be like, oh shit. And maybe 10 years, it might not matter.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, how, so it's a interesting way to like put things in perspective.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is pretty interesting. Like I sometimes I go back, I think about it, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Probably shouldn't do that, or yeah, it was a great idea, So it's all perspective. Yeah. Do you think, like, in a certain way that being an amputee has like led to certain opportunities that might not have arised?
Like this acting thing, I definitely would not done that.
Yeah.
Or even been offered at all. And yeah, I'm working in like a foundation and doing stuff like that. Like before in college, I was studying to work in NGOs, which are just non-governmental operations, like just big charities, like that just do aid across the world and stuff, or just like companies and stuff. So I was wanting to do that, and it sort of like literally fell and been given to me. And so yeah, I was like, I've definitely met a lot of people because of this. And like well, yeah, I think people, I've been given like certain like things, and like but I really don't know, like I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not like an easy thing to answer or like to say,
but yeah, I know I've been given things because I'm in a wheelchair. But I hope to say that I've earned it in other ways. Besides that aspect.
Like more so than people just feeling bad.
Yeah.
Do you get a lot of it?
Major like dichotomy or like paradox that I like don't like having. I hate asking for help. Well, first, like I hated asking. Like I'm the oldest, just me and my brother. I'm also the oldest. Like my cousins on my mom's side.
Okay.
So like I definitely had that older sibling vibe, and where's I going with this? What did you just ask me?
I was gonna ask if you get a lot of people like kind of feeling bad or like sympathy things.
Yeah, and it's like because I didn't like that, and then like I wasn't a huge person on social media, or like I didn't like my name plastered everywhere, and then it was live like Kainoa. Everything, and being called a warrior. I hated that term for like 6 months. Just for me, they're like, oh, you're such a warrior. And I'm like, yeah, for you, I just lost everything. So it's not a story of victory, it's a story of loss for me. And so for those people to say that, like, it's that time it wasn't right for them. And so but yeah, I definitely do like when I am talking about like jobs I'm getting and stuff, like yeah, I am getting because of that and stuff, but I do feel that like because I don't like that aspect of like receiving things like that, because I definitely know that, like, what'd she say? She was like, on your worst day, there are still probably over a million, probably over 1 billion people, at least, there's over 1 billion people who would choose your worst day over their best day any day, raise their hand and they'll take it hands down. And so, like, I definitely live with that, and so like I don't want to take a lot, but we do, like, I do need a lot. So like there's that aspect too, and so it's kind of like it's definitely learning to like be that way, because you can almost be rude and saying no to a lot of these people, or like they're trying to make things easier, and like I can do those things, but like just for ease of situation, and like it also makes them feel really good. But like but it's also just like not about me too. It's about more than that, of like the live like kind of a thing. Like I'm definitely past it now. It's not. Yes, my name is attached to it, but it's all about the people and what they did. Right. Granted, I can just be a template for showing how beautiful this community is and stuff. But yeah, I definitely had to move past that.
I'm sure it wasn't easy to be, especially like you were saying, if it was hard enough that you like, if you don't like that already, that to come to grips with it, it must have been.
Yeah, and I was also kind of not a private person, but I loved not like the anonymity, but like just like going into the city by myself and like just doing and like going and having lunch with my friend or something, and like. Or, like, some things I miss the most is, like, walking home from the library at, like, 2 in the morning by myself. Like, the small things that, like, or, like, standing in the shower. Like, those are the things I miss more than what normal people would think. It's, like, those small little things. And
to most people, it's just, like, a mundane, normal thing to do.
Yeah, like, that's a lot of things. And I'm sure, like, for someone, me, I don't even realize how good my vision is or my hearing or stuff like that for other people and stuff. So, it's just... shift in perspective, but definitely had to shift. Well, I mean, obviously, but in that aspect as well. So
you're never alone then, right? Or, I mean,
yeah, I'm with my mom a lot, and so
mama's boy.
And so that's like, it's very like it's fun. I'm glad me and my mom did a lot, and it's just a hard dichotomy.
Yeah. So, because I remember you telling me she goes to school with you too, right? Does she like sit in classes, or she just kind of
like, just chills outside and stuff. So like, but at home, like I do, but like it is like noticeably like I do like going out with my friends. Like I notice that when I'm not going out with my friends, like I'm just at home and stuff. Yeah. So like, there's definitely that difference that you notice and stuff.
Yeah. That's pretty interesting.
I love my family and my work, but I work with a lot of older people.
Yeah.
And, like, I just would love to spend maybe, like, an hour with someone my age every once in a while. Like, that wouldn't suck. Yeah. Because I'm with doctors. I'm in PT offices. I'm in, like, so now I'm going to school. So that's different. But I'm speaking to them in an academic setting, not, like, chilling with my friends. Right. And so I think definitely once I am able to drive, it'll be very different and stuff. But... also, like, I'm really not in a rush to, like, everyone's like, so you have a girlfriend, and all this shit, and I'm like, well, I don't need a kid, so, like, I know me, so, like, that's not probably, and, like, I'm not pushing towards that either, and so, and it all comes in due time, like,
everything happens when it's supposed to.
And so, like, it's just all those funny things of just, like, people are like, so what are you doing this, and this, and this, and this, like, oh, I'm just chilling, man, like.
Yeah, I mean, I was just telling my friend, too, like, they're like, oh, because are you dating anyone in LA? I'm like, no, not really. I'm like, not that I'm not trying to, or not that I'm trying to not, or that I'm looking for someone. It's just like, if it's supposed to happen, it will. And I, at the moment, I feel like I don't have enough time for like certain things I want to do myself already. So it's like, okay, so trying to juggle another person.
And I'm already like a hot mess in myself. I don't need another person. And that is a hard thing, like that I've dealt with. Like, I can't run away from it. Like, this is so bad. But, like, all the other people in my family, like, they can just put on pants and, or, like, and just walk and like, be not with the situation for, like, an hour or something, you know? And so, like, that's definitely because I can't never not be this and stuff. And so, I mean, that's not fun. But it is so fun, too. So, life's a paradox.
Yeah. I'm sure it's really trippy.
I do it a lot.
Oh man, I was literally, the words were coming, and then as my mouth opened, they disappeared. Oh yeah, I was saying that it's hard enough to juggle like the few things that I have going on now. I mean, now I'm getting busier where my friend just asked me to produce his movie. Yeah, so it's like I don't know if he'll listen to this, but the last time he listened, he's like, dude, don't worry about it. But it's like one of those things that I haven't done yet. I've produced my own short films, but like this is on the grander scale. This is like we're gonna be filming in Costa Rica, and it's gonna be a feature film. So it's like as that becomes more prominent in my life, where I need to like put all my focus into it, which is now, but it's like, how do I do that with the job I'm currently doing and trying to stay in shape and, trying to go out with the friends that I do have, it's like, okay, if I try to bring in another person, what's going to slip?
And you don't want to do like it in a bad way.
Yeah.
Like, when I do things, tend to do them seriously.
Yeah.
But, like, that's what, so like, but like, obviously it's like nothing, or like I'm dating you. So it's like,
I mean, and all.
Besides the point, but like that's why I'm waiting, just because like I do like.
It's also like trying to find like a balance, and I mean, like obviously you could if someone came into your life, like a new friend, a new girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever the person's situation is, like you find time, you make the time to to fit that
when
person.
They are that person.
But it's hard to like to. I know, especially when you're trying to find your path, it's like, okay, well, I'm trying to focus on this, and it's like that might derail me, and maybe you're supposed to, maybe you're not, but it's like hard to kind of get, what's the word I'm looking for? But it's you kind of don't want to get off when you feel like you have this good thing going, and you're like, if I look for an outside thing to come in, and you feel like that will get you off. And that's my roommate, he was saying like that's why he's not like trying to, because he's just trying to focus. And I'm like, oh, that's so smart that because he knows that once someone new comes into his life, or some big thing happens, like because he's an actor, and so he's like waiting for that, he's got things lined up that he's ready for, and he just knows that as soon as they take off, like they're going to consume his life, so he doesn't want to let down people or things like that. And I'm like, it makes a lot of sense, like because especially like in my line of work, it's like when you're working on a project, like that project is your life, and if you're not fully committed or focused, like one domino will
I
the whole set will.
For the scripts, when they were like, put a backstory to it, I'm like, there's 7 lines. And like these other people coming with full backstories and alcoholic parents and all of this stuff, and I'm like, it's 7 lines. They're like, yeah, get into it, dude. I'm like, all right, I understand now. I see where we are. But like that's totally like, you have to buy in. Yeah,
I mean, in even and everything, and not even just like an actor, but like on the other side too, like both parties have to be fully committed, and if not, like, I mean, that's just any job too, any relationship, anything. If you're not fully committed to it, it's like something's gonna give. So I don't know. It's not easy life. In any case, no. If it was, it would be boring. Yeah. Anyway, I think that might be a good place to end.
Okay.
Yeah, and cool. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about? Any things you want to plug? Links or Facebook, Instagram, or social media?
Yeah, you can follow me at Live Like Kainoa on Instagram and Facebook.
Cool. I'll have a link below. Anything else?
What else should I plug?
If you want. I mean, I'm not forcing you.
K2 Adventure
Okay.
But we already talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
But
I can leave a link for them down below.
The foundation to look at it. But that's about it.
Cool. Yeah. If you guys have any questions for Kainoa or for myself, feel free to message us or leave comments below. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Kainoa, for coming on. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
It was awesome. It was fun.
I'm sorry if it was a little loosey goosey. I have yeah. Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. I've enjoyed the talk, and I've loved being able to us being able to connect and
definitely.
become friends over time has gone on. I can't wait to see, how like your foundation comes together in the future, and when you're finally able to drive again. I think that'll be amazing. Yeah, it'll be liberating, I'm sure. See you, Mom.
That will be something weird.
Yeah.
Driving in a car by myself.
Yeah. You have to GoPro that one too.
Yeah, that will be probably crying all
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Do you have like is it like when you go on your hike in Australia, are they going to do like some kind of like documentary or filming of it?
Someone will be doing some filming stuff, but I definitely next hike.
Yeah.
I need all of it filmed and stuff.
Yeah.
'Cause that would be cool.
Yeah, I would love to see something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll keep a lookout for that. I'm excited for. When is that happening?
December 11th,
Oh.
2019.
Oh, awesome. So pretty soon.
Yeah, I know.
That's so cool. Awesome.
Yeah, my trainer.
Well, I'm sure you'll do fine.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. Well, anyway, guys, thank you so much. You can find me on Instagram at Harrison Burger, Twitter Harrison C Burger. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you can find podcasts. You can find it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And thank you so much. Thank you for listening. Kainoa, thank you again for being here. And I will see you next week. Cut.